Mujin confirms, saying that although Hyun Gahi has made great progress, he still needs to stretch his stiff muscles further. Hyun Gwang, with his curiosity piqued, asks if this new method involves the heat and lightning techniques, which have greatly contributed to his improvement. He feels confident that he could start performing the tasks on his own. He then used his energy to generate both heat and lightning techniques in his hands and asks for feedback, wondering what Mujin think about it. Mujin is amazed by Hyun Gwang's mastery and realizes that Hyun Gwang has reached such a level of martial skill that he can now use his internal energy to create natural energy and manifest it in his hands. Mujin recognizes Hyun Gwang as an exceptional martial artist, realizing the true extent of his capabilities. Hyun Gahi, observing Hyun Gwang's mastery, comments on his exceptional skill, to which Hyun Gwang modestly laughs it off, calling it just a small trick. Meanwhile, Ryu Ji-gwang, who is quietly observing, leans over to Biob Jian and whispers, asking if the man is truly named Hyun Gwang. Biob Jian confirms that it is. Upon hearing the name, Ryu Ji-gwang begins to tremble, realizing the significance of the person he is in the presence of. He recalls that Hyun Gwang is the legendary figure who single-handedly drove away the demonic cultists that had invaded the Shaolin Temple decades ago, a story known across the land but rarely spoken of in detail after the invasion. As Ryu Ji-gwang reflects further, he remembers that Hyun Gwang was supposedly left crippled and had lost all of his martial arts abilities after the incident. Yet, here he is, using the muscle-lengthening technique and recovering his strength. Ryu Ji-gwang is amazed by the skill Hyun Gwang exhibits, particularly his ability to use energy effortlessly despite the supposed loss of his strength. This reinforces Ryu Ji-gwang's realization that Hyun Gwang is not only an extraordinary martial artist, but also someone who has far surpassed the expectations of ordinary warriors. Ryu Ji-gwang further realizes the potency of the muscle-lengthening technique, which he now sees works as promised, and he recognizes that it was taught to Biob Jian by Mujin. This deepens his respect for Mujin's abilities, and he concludes that the boy's skills are genuine. He also senses that this is an opportunity he cannot afford to let slip by. As the treatment session concluded, Hyun Gahi expressed her gratitude to Mujin. Mujin graciously replied it was his pleasure. He enjoyed it too. Though internally, he thought the experience had felt almost like watching an episode of elderly romance, noting the warmth between Hyun Gwang and Hyun Gahi. Turning his attention to Ryu Ji-gwang, Mujin advised him, "The roads can get quite dark later. It's best to head back home soon." Ryu Ji-gwang agreed, but before leaving he mentioned there's something he did like to say. He will come back early tomorrow morning. Could he bring him to the administration hall? Mujin was taken aback by the request and asked, "The administration hall? He can guide him there. But may he ask why he'd like to go?" Ryu Ji-gwang gave a faint smile and replied, "He has some business there. He'll explain everything tomorrow. It involves something that requires his presence. He'll be counting on him to lead the way." Although a bit puzzled, Mujin agreed and said, "He'll let them know you'll be visiting." As they parted ways, Mujin couldn't shake the feeling of curiosity about Ryu Ji-gwang's plans, wondering what he was up to and why he had asked for Mujin's assistance. The next day, Hyun Gwang allowed Ryu Ji-gwang to visit the administration hall, and Mujin escorted him there. The administration hall, responsible for managing the Shaolin Temple's budget and finances, was busy with activity. Hyun Myung, the head of the hall, raised his eyebrows in surprise as he listened to Ryu Ji-gwang's proposal. He thought he misheard him. Could he repeat that? Ryu Ji-gwang, maintaining his calm composure, reiterated that he had a proposal. He'd like the Heavenly Merchants to open a clinic with Mujin. Hyun Myung stared at the pouch of money Ryu Ji-gwang had given him earlier, a significant sum of 100 gold niang, which could cover a year's worth of food expenses for the entire Shaolin Temple. His mind raced, wondering why Ryu Ji-gwang had handed over such a large amount so easily. What was his true intention? Ryu Ji-gwang, sensing Hyun Myung's unease, spoke up, acknowledging the money's value. He explained that the amount was only natural, given that the treatment techniques used by Mujin had improved an incurable disease that even the best physicians couldn't treat. He seemed to downplay the generosity, though his words didn't fully reassure Hyun Myung. Hyun Myung, still suspicious, pressed him further about his earlier suggestion to open a clinic with Mujin. Ryu Ji-gwang responded smoothly, outlining his plan to establish a clinic using Mujin's revolutionary treatment method to help those with incurable ailments, like Hyun Gwang and his mother. However, Hyun Myung wasn't entirely convinced and raised concerns about Shaolin's strict policy against engaging in business ventures, especially one that seemed aimed at the wealthy. Ryu Ji-gwang, though caught off guard by Hyun Myung's perceptiveness, remained composed. He acknowledged the truth